I see so many nurses, they're saying things like they're so unhappy, they're overwhelmed, they're anxious, they're suffering, they're saying all these things and also defending the very thing that's causing them to suffer, the very thing that's causing them to be burned out. Why do you continue to stay? So if the first thing that came to mind was something like money, finances, you went to school to become a nurse, you put energy, time, effort into being a nurse, you don't want to waste you don't want to waste your degrees. Any of the things like that, those are just the very surface, right? Nursing is not the only way for you to have income. It's not the only way for you to make an impact. It's not the only way for you to utilize the skills that you picked up within nursing, that you picked up from going to nursing school, from getting your nursing degrees. It's not the only way you can use those skills, because those skills are highly transferable to an abundance of other different areas, right? So the things like finances, degree, like all that stuff is barely scratching the surface, and it's not what's actually the deeper issue here. The deeper issue is that we have been trained, we have been brainwashed, we have been conditioned to literally sacrifice our health, mental health, physical health for finances. We have been trained to sacrifice our well being for a title, for the recognition that we get for other people, for the validation that we receive from other people for being the nurse. What was that? In this video, I really want to talk about how to escape the burnout trap, how to escape the survival mode, burnout trap suffering, because so many people are going through this. And I was like doing some reflecting the other day. Yes, was it yesterday? It was recently, around my content and how I want my content to feel a certain way, right? I want my content to feel uplifting. I want it to feel inspiring. I want it to feel um, like you feel energized, or you feel like you actually can take the action that we talk about in the video. I want it to give you hope. I don't want to leave you here feeling drained, feeling worse about your problems than you already do. So when I talk about the pain, when I talk about the suffering, when I talk about the burnout, that is to let you see that I see you, okay? Because I've been there. I've been exactly in that spot. I used to be a nurse. If you are new here, I used to be a registered nurse. I became a nurse in 2021, went in and out of burnout cycles, and I faced a point where I was just like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. So I had to find a way to overcome the fear, the doubt, the fear of judgment, like all the things that come when you leave nursing and you try something else that's unknown or that's new to you. I've done it so many different times, like try so many different new things outside of nursing, but I had to go through that journey, and I had to learn. First of all, I had to unlearn a bunch of the stuff that I picked up along my nursing journey. A bunch of the survival mode, the burnout patterns, the things that were keeping me stuck. So I had to unlearn those things. I had to heal deeply. I had to do all this stuff. And now I love to speak about the things that I learned. I love to speak about my own wisdom and share it with you and see if you feel called to apply that. So if you are a nurse right now, if you, I'm pretty sure you're a nurse if you're watching this video, but if you're in that spot where you feel like you're defending the very thing that is harming you, that is not allowing you to become who you feel like you're truly meant to become, I really want you to sit with that question of why do you continue to stay? And on a conscious level, is you say the things that I mentioned earlier, but on a subconscious level, it's because, like I mentioned, we've been conditioned, we've been trained, all of that. And also, our minds love what's familiar. So the mind is going to continue to try to seek out the things, the people, the places, the career, the roles that it feels the most familiar with, because in that familiarity, it feels safe. And humans, like, we're literally wired for safety. So there comes a point, though, where you have to learn how to prove to yourself that you'll be safe trying the new thing. You'll be safe doing things outside the box. You'll be safe exiting the very thing that's consuming you, that's draining you, that's causing you like all this stress, and taking another path so that you can find that thing that actually fulfills you, that actually lights you up, that actually allows you to truly be happy, that allows you to not feel like you have to sacrifice your well being just to pay your bills. So, this came to mind because I was reading some comments and there were a bunch of nurses in the comments defending nursing. And there were some nurses who was like, I just want to leave. I just want to get out. Nurses were talking about how they were like constantly thinking about quitting nursing. And I'm just like, wow. So there's the one bucket who is like defending the thing that's breaking them down. Then you have another bucket who's willing to do whatever it takes to get out of that. And I fell in the second bucket because there was just something in me that felt like that couldn't be it. Like there had to be more. There had to be another way. There had to be something else. And we don't have those, like, if you feel that too, we don't have those desires for no reason. It's okay to stay in nursing if that's what you want to do. So it's okay for that first bucket of nurses. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. But if you truly feel deep down in your soul, the depths of your soul, that you are no longer meant to walk that path, you're no longer meant to dread your workday, to suffer when you wake up, to suffer at work, to suffer when you're thinking about work. Like, if you know you're not meant to settle for that life, to settle for unhappiness, to settle for your health being at stake, you feel that for a reason. That's literally your soul, your spirit, whatever you believe in, trying to wake you up, trying to like shake you, like, listen, I'm trying to get your attention because this is not where we stop. There's more. There is more. So when I think about the burnout trap, the burnout loop, the survival mode trap that so many people get stuck in and stay in, it reminded me of the Stockholm syndrome, like with the kidnapper, and where you start to feel like, don't quote me on the on the exact dynamics of this, but basically when you start to feel, let me just look it up. So it's a psychological response where hostages or abuse victims develop a bond, sympathy, or positive feelings towards their captors or abusers as a survival mechanism. So this just reminds me of the, when people defend the very thing that's harming them, when people defend the very nursing career that's causing them to have so much stress, overwhelm, anxiety, dread, because the system, the nursing system, especially in hospitals, it just, it's not built the way that it needs to be built to prioritize your mental and your physical health. Some places, yes, they're taking more, I'm sure they're taking more of an initiative to help you prioritize those things, but the average spot, at least back when I was practicing nursing, you have to figure it out on your own. And that's fine, but there comes a point where you have to take your power back and be like, this is not okay anymore. This is not something that I'm willing to settle for anymore. So when I talk about leaving nursing and transitioning out of nursing, it's not just about leaving a career. It's about relearning who you truly are. Relearning who you are, reinventing yourself, your identity, and becoming the woman who you feel like you're truly supposed to become. the woman underneath the burnout, the stress, all of that. Because there's a quote that says, you can't heal in the same environment that broke you, right? So that makes me think about the nursing environment. If you already know, like if you've tried different specialties in nursing and you're just like, this is not for me, even if you haven't tried different specialties and you feel like it's not for you, you don't owe anybody explanations. You don't owe anybody um, a thesis about why you no longer want to practice in nursing. You don't owe them that. But you do owe yourself the opportunity to listen to why you feel that way and the opportunity to act on that feeling, to act on that knowing. If it's weird, it's because I forgot that I want to look at the camera and not the screen. So just bear with me now. But there's a part like you owe it to yourself to honor the part of you that already knows, that already feels and knows deep down that something has to change. Okay? So, to start making those changes, you literally have to start being rebellious. You have to start doing things outside of the norm of how society, how your family, how your friends, how your coworkers, how your employer expects you to do things. So, some things you can start doing. Let's put this into practical action steps. If you're somebody who feels guilty about calling out from work or about using up your PTO days, I heard somebody talk about how it's people out here bragging that they have like hundreds of PTO hours. And it's like, how is that? How is that a flex? That means you're not taking time off. You're not really like pouring into yourself to like the most that you can be. So start using your PTO days. Start not picking up shifts or not picking up overtime. And if you're somebody who's literally burnt out and you're still picking up overtime, I had a friend that was doing this. And every time I talked to her, she was just stressed. She was burnt out. She was just feeling like all this heaviness and all this pressure. But she kept getting deeper and deeper into it. Like every month there was a new thing that she was doing related to nursing or uh a new program, or she was just adding so much onto her plate because she was so used to her mind was so used to her like always being in go mode and constantly finding things to do. So now is the time where you really start learning how to get comfortable in the nothingness, to get comfortable in the stillness, the moments where you're just being, where you're just sitting, where you're just resting. Cuz right now you might feel guilty when you sit down to rest. You might feel like you should be doing something or you're not doing enough when it's time for you to sit down to rest. And I used to feel the same way too. Like it used to literally feel like something bad was going to happen because I wasn't, well, not something bad, but like it just was like this uneasiness. It just feels like, oh my God, like what is it that I should be doing or I should be doing something. So in order to like to 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 get out of that loop, you really have to start rebelling. Okay? You have to start sitting still. You have to start resting and you have to start making it a point to be intentional about that. Because that's the only way your mind and your nervous system is going to get used to you taking time off. That's the only way it'll get used to you just sitting still. Okay? So the next thing that I deeply recommend, which literally like these things changed my life, mind you. So the next thing that I recommend is to really start meditating. Like I swear by meditation because it just it allows you to reset your mind. It allows you to not always be on go, go, go mode. And if you are taking time, I heard somebody talk about how when you're taking time off and you're resting, If you're still like consuming a bunch of information, you're still like doing all these things, you're still in busy mode, that's not you really resting. That's not you really recharging. And your mind, like all of your mind and your nervous system, like is still staying in the the survival mode, the burnout loop, because it's still moving, it's still going, it's still like analyzing, it's still just doing stuff. So you got to learn to just sit and allow your mind to just be. And when you do that, when I tell you the amount of clarity that comes when you just start getting in the habit of letting your mind just rest, is unbelievable. And for me personally, like I used to totally be against meditation. One of my brothers used to try to get me into it, and I was like, I don't really want to do it. Started when I was in nursing. I used to literally set an alarm for 3 minutes so I could like make myself sit there and do my meditation. But now I meditate for at least 15 minutes a day, and it's just like I don't want to not do it because I've done it for years and years, and like all of that compounds and it really rewires your mind, it rewires your body. It's a lot of benefits to meditating. Maybe I'll pop some on the screen somewhere, but that's another way to start taking your power back, to start getting out of these burnout loops, to stop staying in survival mode, letting your mind, your nervous system, and your body learn to rest. And the next way is really, I don't know why I laughed, but the next way is really allowing yourself to make a change and allowing yourself to receive support on that journey. So it's like the third and a half way, 3.5. Because it's one thing to allow yourself to make change, but you wanting to make change isn't going to make it happen. So it's really helpful to have support, to have mentorship, to have community as you are actively making changes, because the people that are going through the similar journey as you, or the people who have gone through it first before you, and they're like showing you different things, different insights, they're saving you time, they're saving you heartache, they're saving you lessons that you don't have to waste time learning because they already went through those lessons. So I just got off a call with an entrepreneur group, Omar El Takori, I think that's how you say his name. And he was talking about how he talked about a lot of things, but he talked about how um oh my gosh, I'm totally drawing a blank. It'll come to me, hopefully. But the benefits of having a mentor, having a community, it really does help propel you forward. It gives you confidence. It lets you borrow confidence and belief that you might not have in yourself right now. And when you start moving, you start making changes. That's an act of rebellion in itself. But the key is to make changes that aren't going to put you in the same predicament that you're in now. So the changes that you have to make, they can't be changes that are going to reinforce this survival mode and the burnout cycles. So you really, in order to avoid that, you really have to start doing some self inventory, doing some evaluation on your past patterns, your past habits, your past and current habits, patterns, behaviors, and and like the things that you did to get to where you are and where you want to go and how you want it to feel different. I always talk about how in my first few businesses, I took that burnout right with me because at that time, like I was still working through it. I was still figuring out, learning myself, learning about what I wanted to do, learning about what I didn't want to do, and learning how to really heal from the the survival mode patterns and the burnout, not only from nursing, but from society, from my family, like my bloodline, from seeing my parents, seeing my mom, you know? So it's real deep, okay? You really got to get up in there and just like, you got to unlearn all this stuff. And then you have to rebuild yourself back up to the version of yourself that allows herself to rest. She allows herself to feel rested, to pause, to recharge, to not even get to the point where she okay, to become the woman who feels herself getting to the point where it's like, oh, I feel like I'm overdoing it. And you're able to back it up. You're able to like recenter. You're able to stop the cycle before you get right back into that burnout loop. So that's been one of the things that I'm proud of that I've been able to do since like healing, working on myself, since leaving nursing and all that. Because there have been moments where it was like enticing to go into the burnout because your mind loves what's familiar and it remembers that old version of you. And then to have that new version of you step in and be like, nope, the new me, the me now, she doesn't allow this. So we're going to take our break, we're going to rest, and we're going to be okay with it. And it's not always that easy. Like it does take intentionality. It does take, I won't even say it's not always that easy, actually. Let me take that back. It can be as easy as you allow it to be. It's all in the action because we can talk about this all day, but the moment you start taking action, start doing things differently, start really making changes that are in alignment with where you want to go and the type of rest you want to receive, like the type of life you want to have, a soft life, that's the moment when things changes. That's the moment where you show like your mind, you show your body that you are a different person because you're choosing rest. You're choosing the path that isn't so like physically, mentally demanding, exhausting, and filled with pressure. So it's all up to you. It's all up to you. This was a channeled message. Um, yeah, so if you are a nurse who's been thinking about leaving nursing and you have been having like these different thoughts come up about excuse me, you've been having these different thoughts come up about why you can't leave or feeling stuck, I want to remind you that you're not stuck. The only thing that keeps you stuck is not making a decision, is not allowing yourself to do something different, is by not allowing yourself to honor what you truly feel and putting other people's opinions or expectations or society's views over your heart and what you truly desire. So if what you truly desire is to rest, is to be happy, is to feel fulfilled, is to feel like you can just breathe and be. I know that's what I was craving when I was in nursing more than anything. I wanted to just be able to sit there and stretch and take care of myself and rest. And when I tell you, I was like, I'm able to do that today. I've been able to do that since I left nursing in the last, dang, 11 2021. So it's about to be 5 years. But it's possible. It is so possible. And yeah, hopefully this uplifted you, sparked you in some type of way. Let me know in the comments what you gained from this and what you're excited to do, put into practice to start this journey because it's long overdue. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. Love you. Bye.